Hello. Hello, good morning. Happy Saturday. Uh, a little adjusty there. Well, as the title says, I've got cookies today. Uh, we're working off of an actual, good morning, working off of an actual printed recipe um, by Ovenly for Scortons, black olive shortbread cookies from northern France. I don't trust myself to do this on the fly, and I tasted these, and these are absolutely my jam. I love these things. So I'm going to make them myself because I love them. But I want to make them right. So we're following a recipe. Um, but we do have fun later on. You'll remember several weeks back now, the salted tuna. I had extra tuna, and I cut it into like logs, and I packed it in salt in a jar. Well, here's the jar. As you can see, no salt, no tuna. Um, they kind of sagged into it. Um, and it's probably because you're not supposed to pack them vertically. You're supposed to pack them flat somehow. I'm not sure what the traditional method is. So I transferred them into a different container. This container, you can see them poking through the edges there. In the transfer, it got less soupy. We lost some of our extracted liquid. But when I was transferring, I noticed that they were very, very firm. Um, like quite solid, which was a dramatic change. They also were kind of sticking to each other where they were touching, which suggests a chemical change as well. So that's going to be exciting. I want to crack into those, um, but we'll do that a little bit later. This cookie recipe has a resting period in the middle of it. So during the resting of the dough, that's when we're going to dive in on the tuna, see what's what. Also, cookies aren't really a meal. So the tuna, if it works out, if it's good, fingers crossed, I'm going to try to make into the actual like something for me to eat today, not just cookies. Um, so yeah, we should get started because there's definitely some things to do. Ace Cow, welcome in. Yeah, here I am. I have had to skip the last couple of Saturdays. Um, Last week I had plumbing issues, and the week before I was out of town for the holiday. So it's been a couple weeks since I've been on a Saturday. But yes, welcome in. Glad to see you. Glad you could make it. Uh, we're gonna dive in because the first step of this is some long, slow. We don't need that anymore. Here's my butter. It's sitting out because I want it to soften up a little bit before I get into softening. Here's our recipe. And as you can see, the first step here, even before the first step, black olives pitted. My olives have pits in them. First step is going to be pitting olives. And there's going to be all of these olives. Kind of, well, that might be too much. I don't know. They were more packed in, but then I shook them around and they kind of rode up on each other. So first step, pitting olives. Because we don't want olive pits in our finished cookies. They're not good eating. Let's move the gentleman and Mr. Tiny Whisk. So these are oil-cured olives. You read the ingredients, there are three ingredients: olives, salt, and olive oil. And that's it. This is a method of preserving olives that must be super ancient. It gives them a really strong and salty flavor. And you squeeze out the pit just as simple as that. They're very soft. They're almost jammy. The pits are all going to go in my trash bowl, which is going to be slightly off the side here. But yeah, here's our first step. Which gives us plenty of time to chit-chat. So, Ace, may I call you Ace? How'd you find the channel? Always excited to see new people. By the look of it, you're in Hecky's group, and you probably have seen my food posts on her Discord. I can immediately tell that at some point I'm going to throw the pit in there and the rest of the olive in the other one by mistake. This is a good use of these. Yeah, it's probably in Hecky's Discord. I don't have my own Discord yet. It's something I need to set up. A central location for people to hang out, and a place to post an actual schedule instead of a last-second Twitter shout-out just before I go live, especially given the state of Twitter these days. So I've had these olives. I had bought them as a snacking thing because they're delicious, but they're also quite salty and oily and rich, and you can only eat a couple of them before you're like, oh, I can't keep going. It's excellent for preserved olives, and I'm sure they'd be good with something. But I'm not sure. I was never sure what to do with them. So this is a good way to finish out that jar. I had about a third of the jar left. Yep. Some of them are super soft, and some of them are a little bit firmer. I actually got to taste these cookies. The cookies we're making, my mom made them. And I got to taste them when I was home for Thanksgiving a couple weeks ago. And I thought they were the best. I'm frequently intrigued by savory cookies. Yeah. Don't worry, don't worry. We're nearly there. This is the most tedious part of the whole day. Good thing to start on as well. People don't usually filter in until a little bit later, so this will chew up time right at the start. Give folks a chance to get in, and then they can miss out on this part. Not that they're missing out, no. Or not that. No, wait. I said that wrong. Almost that was the one. I almost threw that one the wrong way around. No, I'm glad to have you here. As much fun as this is, it's even more fun when I've got someone to chat with. Um, oh, and we're still in the learning phases for this new microphone. So if there's anything up with the microphone, please let me know. I can adjust levels or move it on my collar. Ooh, that one did not want to come apart. Okay. So the recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of oil-cured black olives, pitted. Now I have not measured these. I don't have a 3/4 cup measure either. I'm not sure what that equates to. That's one of those things where it probably shouldn't be done as a volume measure. Um, I was looking at my little conversion magnet. I have a magnet of common US conversions here on the refrigerator next to me that I can reference for easy. Oh, some of these are really tough. For easy, quick references. So 3/4 of a cup is 180 milliliters. But I don't feel like you typically do olives as a volume measure. So either way, we're just going to use everything I've got there. And that's them. They are pitted. Set the good morning. Welcome in. You've just missed me pitting a lot of olives. Ugh. Now I've got to wash a lot of olive oil off my hand. Ooh, and it leaves olive fingerprints on the bottle of soap, too. Wow, okay. Bear with me a moment. I'm over here. You can see me in the little camera. I'm over here by the sink again. Oh, I'm still raising my voice. I always raise my voice when I'm on the other end of the kitchen, even though the microphone comes with me. Okay. Greasy, sticky. Where's my dish towel? Ah, yes. A volume of olive. Okay, Ace. I will be here for at least another 2 hours. So have fun with your errands. I'll see you if you get back. Otherwise, have a good day. So I'm supposed to rinse the olives under cold water. Probably to get rid of some of the excess salt since they are salted. So we will be doing that. I'm going to do this directly over the thing. We're going to have, here, I'll move you up to main cam so you can at least look at the back of my head while I'm over here by the sink. Oh, I'm getting a bunch of grit out of them, actually. Okay. That worked out well enough. We're coming back with a cutting board. And now a bowl of wet, oily, salty olives. Mmm. Doesn't that much make you think of cookies? All right, I dribbled some olive juice over in here by the sink. I want to clean it up before I forget. Doesn't that just make you think of cookies? Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring this bowl back because it's less wet. And then I need to... I should have put this recipe on like an image. Welcome in, Aurora. Or Selena. What are you having? Coarsely chopped. I don't know what the name of this chopping method is, but I see chefs do it all the time. And it's super effective, but you need a long knife with a curved blade. And they're basically, it's hard to see from directly above. But if you're not familiar with what I'm doing, I'm putting my hand over the top of the blade and rocking it. Okay. Minced up olives. In the original bowl that they were in, let's use the knife as a scraper. You won't be able to see this because it's right off the bottom, but I'm just going to scrape them into the bowl. And I did use the blade edge for that because I wanted a really sharp scrape, but I don't recommend using the blade edge of a knife to scrape things off of your board. Toss whatever in the fridge into a pan. I love that. That's my favorite thing. I've had that twice this week. Okay. I hope the sink isn't too loud when I'm over here. I kind of raise my voice to talk over it. I'm rinsing off the knife real quick because these oily olives do definitely leave a residue on everything they touch. Okay. Our oily olives are going to be up there behind my face, and I'm going to rinse this guy off too because I think I'm going to want him later. Ooh. I'm actually going to give that a quick actual wash with soap because I do think I want it later. Okay. It can dry out a little bit. We can get rid of the jar as well. Okay. Olives, coarsely chopped, set aside. Step 2. Butter. I don't have a stand mixer, so we are doing this the old-fashioned way. I think we're going to want the big glass bowl for this. So this is how you. So cured olives, not super French. Here's how you can tell this is a French recipe. It calls for not quite 2 sticks of butter, but a lot of butter, an enormous amount of butter. We're going to just go ahead and peel this stick of butter. And that's not enough butter, not for French cooking. Now it's enough butter. I'm glad that the butter shortage never really materialized in my area because I can enjoy things like this. Although, I don't recommend eating food like this very often. That's a lot of butter. 9 tablespoons of butter. And I'm supposed to beat this as is until it's lightened in color and soft. Okay. I want a beater that's not going to break. I feel like I should just use the electric one for this. Where are you? Okay, we're gonna try the hand mixer for this because it's a lot of butter, and it's gonna be a lot of work to do it with a whisk. It can be done. I've done it before with a slightly smaller quantity of butter. But let's a wooden spoon. Maybe I can get started with a wooden spoon. I'm supposed to. The following step is I'm supposed to beat in powdered sugar and olive oil. Oh my god. There's also olive oil going in this. I'm gonna give it a try with the old electric mixer. I've got this thing. I should use it sometimes. This is not working very well. This is not working super well. Let's try beating it with the wooden spoon to start, and then trying the electric mixer. Because that is not working very well. The butter is a little bit cold. Also, welcome in, Sizen. The butter is a little bit cold. It's been out all morning, but it's kind of chilly, so it's not fridge cold, but it's not like warm. I don't live in France. My room temperature is not all balmy, whatever the temperature is in France. But yes, the butter is less than room temperature. It's been out all morning, but all morning's only like 2.5 hours now. I don't want to melt the butter. I'm going to go out with a wooden spoon. Really, it just needs to get worked at a little bit. Probably should have taken it out last night and just said, it's cool enough in the house, it's not going to go off or anything. I know people leave their butter at room temperature all the time. I understand the logic of doing this as well. You're supposed to soften it up so that other ingredients are easier to incorporate into it. I'm going to need a silicone scraper as well, because it wants to get stuck to the sides. However, I'm not going to stir with the scraper because last time I did a heavy dough with one of these silicone scrapers, it snapped, if you'll recall. Not meant for this, clearly. Butter is sticky. Oh, I'm aware it'll be a stiff dough. I need to get it to warm up. I almost want to go in there with my hands, but then my hands will be all super buttery. And I know I'm going to get in there with my hands later anyways, so... It's already definitely a bit softer, just by mashing it with the wooden spoon here. It kind of pastes out more. So maybe we can try to hit it with the electric mixer at this stage. Let's find out. I've always said baking is one of my biggest gaps in my cooking knowledge. Once we master baking, we can move on to candy making. You said nah? Well, it's definitely softer because it picked all of it up into the beaters. I think we're going to say that the electric mixer is the inappropriate tool for this. For those of you following along at home, and I know you are, go back and don't do that thing I just did. Now we got to get them out of here again. Where are you, small spatula? I don't have dough hooks with a mixer. I have these, which are egg beaters, and I have a whisk attachment that I don't think works well at all. We are a We are a low-budget kitchen around these parts. Almost all of the things I have are either the cheapest thing I could find or a gift. Oh, speaking of the cheapest thing I could find, I've got a story about cheap stuff. Yesterday, I was out shopping, as I frequently am, and it's currently a seafood sale at the grocery chain in my area. I think they do it so people can have, because there's people like to have shrimp and crab and stuff around Christmas, so they are selling seafood ahead of the holidays. Um, if you're not aware, snow crab, usually the cheaper of the crabs, is very expensive this year because the Bering Sea, that's the sea around Alaska and Russia, the Bering Sea snow crab harvest has been canceled entirely due to low population. So snow crab is only being fished from the North Atlantic population this year. So the price is very, very high. I was not intending to purchase any snow crab because I knew the price was going to be high. And also, as much as I like crab, it's not really entertaining for cooking because I typically just eat it as is. But I popped by to take a peek at it, and I found a package of snow crab legs that had obviously been mislabeled. Instead of $9.99 a pound, someone had typed in 99 a pound. Not $99, but 99 cents. Who can pass up a deal like that? So I grabbed it. And you know what? They honored it. So I got 3/4 of a pound of snow crab legs for 70 cents yesterday. Now, it's a lot of shell in there, but it was a lot of shell and end pieces, and they weren't the best looking, but they weren't meant to have been discounted quite that much. And it wasn't use it or lose it last second deals like I often get out of the bargain meats. It was just in the regular meats. So I will have some crab to enjoy. I feel like this is softened enough to add the sugar, so we're going to do that. Powdered sugar, where have I put you? I'm sure 1,000 people had walked by that without noticing. Because people were buying the snow crab from the fish case that you have to like buy individually. Powdered sugar, 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, sifted. Sifted, which means sifter. And this is, of course, because powdered sugar is very lumpy. Has a bad habit of clumping up on itself. Fancy sifter. I got it for $1 at the Goodwill. So of course you can always sift using just a regular mesh thing, and put it in there and pop pop pop, and it shakes through. But what the actual sifter device does is it breaks up the little lumps instead of just trapping them. You have returned. How were the errands? You are in time for the sifting of the sugar. All you've missed is me struggling with butter for a while, and then telling a story about crab. So usually you don't need to sift flour here, at least here in the US, because all of our flour, if you look at the package, says pre-sifted. Now, that's not a guarantee that it's going to be super smooth, but it does mean that they've run it through mechanical sifters already. Once upon a time, you always had to sift your flour because you were just getting it from the mill and it was all clumpy. Powdered sugar, I have found, tends to reclump itself very easily. A tiny amount of humidity gets in the bag, the powdered sugar sucks it up and goes all clumpy. I mean, that's definitely a benefit. But like, my powdered sugar was literally just clumpy right now, and sifting it loosens it up. It'll make it easier to incorporate without having to fight with little lumps. Way back before food regulations were fully in place, yes, it would pull out rocks and such. Okay. This is going to be a bit of a tricky one to do because I'm supposed to have, like, this recipe assumes I have a stand mixer, clearly. Because it wants me to stream the powdered sugar in with the mixer running, which, good thought, but we ain't going to do that unless I've got a sous chef on hand. I've noticed a lot of internet recipes assume you have a stand mixer and don't really make accommodations for not having a stand mixer. Even recipes that predate the existence of electric stand mixers have been rewritten to assume a stand mixer. I'm going to I'm going to get my silicone scraper out so I can scrape my hand off when I'm done with this, but I'm going to incorporate this one by hand. As for streaming in slowly, that's a feature, that's a thing that you have to do with the stand mixer, because if you just dump a bunch of loose powdered sugar into one of those things, it will volcano all over your kitchen. Make sure I get the butter is well softened at this point as well, and my hand is helping that just by, guess I'm going a little bit hard. The MSG decided it wanted to join the party. Okay. Let's. Ugh. Okay. We're just going to go for a rough scrape. I was going to get my hands dirty at some point. I have more things to add, and every time I get my hands dirty, then I have to wash my hand. Or at least wipe it off so that I'm not getting sugared butter all over everything that I touch. Okay. Probably good enough. Let's taste it. Tastes like sugar and butter. I could just eat a big bowl of that. Let's stop here and just eat a big bowl of that. And the next ingredient, I am washing my hand with soap because I'm going to touch stuff, unfortunately. The next ingredient I'm adding should actually loosen this up a bit. Did I put the towel back in the drawer? Why did I put the towel back in the drawer? The next ingredient I'm adding actually should loosen this up, because the next ingredient is olive oil. Not a lot of olive oil, but olive oil. Because we can't have enough olive in this. We've got to add more olive. Here's my big bottle of olive oil. So since the olive oil is liquid at room temperature, as it incorporates into the solid butter fat, it should make it significantly softer. It also wants a tablespoon of lemon zest, which I don't have a tablespoon of lemon zest, but I have a lemon. So I'm going to zest the entire lemon. And if that's not enough, then we're doomed. 1 lemon. I've never seen lemon zest listed as a volume measurement either. It's usually like zest of 1 lemon. Oh, I should do this way. I learned this. You zest from the bottom, because then you can see what you're zesting. You can see what part of the lemon you're on, if it's clear without having to flip it over. You can see how much zest you've accumulated on the top here. And you can switch hands sometimes. smells extremely lemony. I love lemons. Uh, as a kid, I would eat the lemon served on the side that was just supposed to be a garnish. One time in Calgary, I think it was Calgary, I dropped my lemon on the floor, and I was so sad. I was a kid. I was so sad that we got a replacement lemon. I love lemon to this day. I have in the past just had straight lemon juice in a little shot glass, but I didn't take it as a shot. I sipped it. I enjoyed it. I savored it. Okay, except for that spot because it's a flat spot and I can't get the teeth of the grater into it. We have the zest of one lemon. It smells so lemony. Oh, it's so lemony. I mentioned last time that I've been making my own drinks using stevia, and my almond I think is still my favorite, but the close runner-up is lemon. I wish lemon lime wasn't a standard flavor and we just could just have lemon soda. I would drink that. I would be unhealthy drinking that. Okay, we're gonna attempt to incorporate this with the scraper here. Since the butter was softened and now is being additionally softened by the incorporation of the olive oil. Much nicer, much easier to work with. Gives me a chance to scrape the sides down too. Some of those bits of sugar and butter that we lost on the edges can be reclaimed to the middle. Okay, okay. Ooh, wow, this is taking some time, isn't it? Remove bowl from the mixing stand. Okay, done. Fold in flour and mix until the dough is just smooth. Which means flour, and I'm disappointed in this recipe immediately. It's given me a volume measurement for flour. Why would you give a volume measurement for flour? Never do this. Flour is always measured by weight. Dust the powdered sugar off my quarter cup measure. Flour must always be measured by weight so that you have the exact amount that you're supposed to have instead of... For example, there's a quarter cup of flour, but you can compact it. No. Yeah, anyways. I've read 1,000 rants, and I agree with all of them about flour always measure it by weight. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we'll keep this guy handy. The tower of flour. We'll keep him handy, but over here. Oop, I should have swapped for the wooden spoon because it's going to get too stiff for the spatula really quick. I wonder if it'll be stiffer than the cheese cookies, because those were very stiff. That was the thing that really put me off on them. They were so tasty, but the dough was just crushingly stiff. The inclusion of the olive oil, I think, will make this slightly looser than that, but we'll see. We'll get it in with our hands after after it starts coming together. Because yeah, those cheese cookies were so stiff, and I might go back to that recipe and try to adapt it if this in fact becomes less stiff, to try to incorporate some oil just to soften it up a little bit. Because just butter, just only butter, is a very stiff dough. Okay, we're going to start bringing it together with my hands now. Scrape off the cooking tools. The final scrape shall be with my finger. Okay. Well, it's definitely stiffening up. But it's also coming together. And it's definitely not as hard as that cheese cookie dough. That stuff was just so hard. So we may go back to, because I really liked those, and I wished that they were easier to make. Let's try to get my dough ball to incorporate all of the various powders. From the sides up here. Okay, it's become a dough. Let's flatten it out so that I can put olives in the middle. Fold in olives is the next step. Suggestion: add olives in stages. Okay? Oop. Stage 1, half of the olives. Ooh, it's a mess. Oh, it's gotten mega sticky too. That immediately made it mega sticky. Tower of flour, save me. I'm not going to add flour yet, but I am going to want to add flour to this. Otherwise, it's not going to be a dough. It's going to be a ball of glue. Yes, the chilling stage. That's why I've gotten the second thing lined up, so that while this is resting and chilling, I have something to do aside from just stare at you in dead silence for an hour, which was the original plan. Um, Quality viewing. Looks like cookie dough ice cream. I bet you it tastes exactly like cookie dough ice cream. Okay, I am going to add more flour to this because I feel like it's not supposed to be quite this gluey. An unmeasured amount of additional flour. Ugh. Weirdly enough, my left hand is cramping up from holding the bowl. My right hand is fine. Yeah, the stage after this is lightly flour a work surface and roll it into a log. It's not going to roll into a log if it's got this much stickiness to it. So we're going to add flour until this is not sticking to everything it touches. We're adding flour until this comes back to being a dough. Because there ain't no way in hell this is going to turn into a log at this stage. It's just glue. Although it's getting less glue as I add flour to it. So well, I have followed the recipe exactly. So if yours was different, then you didn't follow the recipe exactly. Well, it was a good dough before I added the olives. I think it's the extra moisture from the olives is what caused this. Because it was a nice, smooth, supple dough that I could handle that was not sticking to everything. And then I added the olives, which were slightly wet from having been washed. They were oily from having been oiled. I think it's just the moisture from the olives got in here and transformed. but we're getting back to it. I do also have quite warm hands, so it could be me. But it's not sticking to me, it's not sticking to the bowl. I think we're back to it. I'm just gonna get these bits off the bottom. Yes, I shall do that. I shall become an undead. I shall have no circulation in my fingers. Add the little scrapings of this onto that. Okay. Knife away, spoon away. Slide that over a little bit this way. Move you. Flour our worktop. With my left hand, so it's a nice, lumpy, uneven flouring. Beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and knead him a little bit more right on the worktop before I turn it into a log, just because I want it to be well incorporated. Pick up some extra flour. Okay, okay. And then you're supposed to turn it into a log about 2 inches thick. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, first of all, mush it back together. Chop her in half. We're going to do 2 logs because the first log was a little bit too long. Wrap in wax paper or plastic. Nope, wrong drawer. Plastic. I shall become a vampire and wear all day. Wah. 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 Log. I'm not gonna get too fancy with it. Boy, it sure looks like somebody didn't chew their food, huh? Okay. Make some room there on the shelf. Log 1. Oop! We've got to moisten. Thank you, Sizan, for the moisten. Moist. That one looks even better. Plastic. Yeah, well, a lot of food looks very similar going in as it does come out, if you pay attention. Log 2. In the fridge. That one was slightly longer and slightly narrower than the first one. Okay. Momentary lights on. I'm going to... Ugh. Just put some stuff on here to soak a little bit, so that it's easier to clean up later when I get to it. You know, I never did make that edible poop. That was one of the Cult of the Lamb things, but I guess the Cult of the Lamb is the craze has died down now. I had to find a new thing. Log 2. Okay, those need to rest for time. A quantity of time. Oh, turn my light off to stop freaking out the camera there. Okay. Right. I do have a... Ooh, before I put the scraper away, we shall use it to scrape. Directly onto the floor. No, I've got my scrap bowl here. Flour can go in the compost just fine. There are a few scraps in there from previous meals as well. Okay. Get my... We have a little bit of time to kill because that needs to chill and rest. And I have just the thing. We are going to dive into an experiment we started weeks ago. It has been transferred to a new vessel, and I did take a peek at it while it was being transferred. So I'm not going to be surprised by this. But here it comes. So I don't know what this is going to taste like, but we're going to taste it. I'm going to get a board out. This is our Maltese Salted Tuna. And when I was transferring it, I transferred it because the sticks of tuna were kind of sagging under their own weight before they fully cured. So I wanted them to be a little bit flatter, but they firmed up a ton, and I noticed that when I was transferring them. They are rigid. Also, wherever they were touching each other, they stuck. And they actually tore a little bit as they were coming apart. They weren't just sticking, they were like adhering to each other. But it's been in there for, I was supposed to be in there for a minimum of 2 weeks. I think we've been in there for 3.5, just shy of 4 weeks. Supposedly they'd become primo starting at 6 weeks and then better from there no matter how long you leave them. They're supposed to keep forever. In part, this was a test to see how well this worked because I will occasionally see discount tuna, usually on a last day, use it or lose it situation, and I don't always want to eat tuna right away. If this is a good result, and it's looking pretty good, it's very firm, like hard, like jerky firm. If this is a good result, whenever I see discount tuna, I'll grab it and do this with it, and then it'll keep basically indefinitely. I'm going to rinse the excess salt off the outside real quick because we don't want that. You can see the flakes are kind of trying to pull apart a little bit. But let's give this a taste test as is and see what we got. I'll remind you, this tuna was on its last good day just about 4 weeks ago. It's darker on this end than on that end. This was a very nice tuna to begin with. I'm going to try the lighter end. It's firm right to the middle. It tastes very oceany. It's extremely salty, which I suppose I understand. It tastes briny. Let's cut down here. Firm right to the middle. Trying a bit more of a centerpiece and one from the darker end. It's chewy. Very salty. Okay. It tastes good. It doesn't taste super a lot like tuna. It's got a very sort of strong ocean flavor. It's very salty, but not like burn your mouth salty. You definitely have to do something with it. You can't just eat it straight. You have to put this on something or in something because it's too salty to just eat as is. Imagine if you soaked this in water for a bit, it would leach some of the salt and make it a little bit easier. It's right on the edge of being so salty that you can't quite eat it. Violet! Oh my god. Welcome in, Raiders! I don't have a raid alert, but welcome in, Raiders. You're just in time. We just put olive cookies in the fridge to rest, and I'm taste testing this Maltese salted tuna and trying to figure out what I would do with it. But welcome in. Oh my goodness, look at all these new faces. We've got medium rare rat, Alex Forrest, Goldie Lick, Joranria, Ribbleschick. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that. If I say that wrong, let me know. The Book Snail, Ollie Hoff, Violet herself, Chili Con Carno. Yeah, if you're familiar with what I've got here, this is tuna steaks that I put in salt just shy of 4 weeks ago, and I'm pulling them out and taste testing them. They've definitely preserved. They don't taste off at all. There's no spoilage at all with them. They're very salty. Oh, but welcome in. Thank you for the raid so much. I've got a new microphone since last time I saw you. I hope it sounds much better. But any ideas what you would do with this? Since we've got a whole bunch of new people, a whole bunch of extra people coming in, what do you think? It's got a briny, oceany flavor to it. It's very firm, almost like jerky. Yeah, I've got here. I'll show it off. You can hardly see it even. He's right there, hidden in the shadow. I've been very happy. This is the same microphone that Hekime and Alistair both used in their kitchens when they do cooking things, and that's what sold me on it. So this tuna, I'm going to pack away the rest of it, and I'm going to figure out what to do with just this piece that I've got here. It needs something not salty to go with it. Sorry, I would ask. Here. I should do a shout out. I should do a shout out. I forget. I so seldom get rated. That I don't remember to do these things. How do I shout out? For those of you who were here before, Ink Violet. I was watching Violet this morning before I jumped on. She does a lot of art streams, and she's got an extremely fun trading card system built right into her channel, where you earn points by watching, and then you can buy card packs that she's illustrated herself, and then you can either just collect them or trade them in for accessories to dress up her little T-Bow, her little fun mascot there. I don't know how to do shout-outs. I haven't done one of these since the shout-out. Is it just shout-out? Oh, yeah. Shout-out. There we go. Aha. Okay, it's really a fantastic system, and unlike anything else I've seen on Twitch. So I say give her a follow. Salted tuna. I like it. It needs to be with something. Preferably something that's not salty. I feel like it would be a good addition to like an onigiri, filling for an onigiri. You could combine it with a little bit of Kewpie, and then it would be salty, briny, creamy, and then the rice would balance it out. I'm not gonna make onigiri today, but I could just make rice, and then we could make a rice bowl and have like, yeah, okay, that's gonna be what I'm gonna do. That's gonna be my formal tester here. So let's get out our plain rice. Well, I will definitely be posting pictures. I'm working on getting a better place to post pictures generally, so I'm not having to do it piecemeal. But I will definitely be posting pictures of these kind of creations, especially the cookies, later on. So look forward to that. Rice cooker. Rice cooker. Okay. So, standard rice cooker. I'm going to make a bowl of rice. We're going to construct a poke bowl using... The other cord is taken up. Using this stuff. I think that's going to be my easy application for it. It definitely needs... It's a very strong flavor. It needs something with it that's not super strong. Thank you, Shark Coordinator. It was a gift, actually, and it's getting a little beat up because I use it so much. But I also like this cutting board. I don't actually use the measurements on it super often, but every once in a while, they do come in handy. A lot of times I just eyeball stuff, even when I've got the measurements right there on the board. Okay, half a cup of rice and a cup of water. In the cooker, don't forget to turn it on. Okay. That shouldn't take too long. I guess the rest of this is going to be chit-chat and assembling ingredients. I've got a few things on hand. Let's rinse my knife off real quick. I've got a few things on hand, so we can make a fun little thing. I had a feeling that I might attempt this in a poke bowl before I tasted it, so I did pick up a cucumber in anticipation. I have a problem with cucumbers. I like them, but I usually get about that far through them, and then that part gets thrown away because by the time I get there, it's gone slimy. Because they're just a little bit too big for how much I like them. I'm looking for equal parts with the fish. I don't have an avocado. Cucumber. I do have... Oh, it's actually getting a little bit dried up right on the end there. Daikon radish. One of my favorites. They are really very... Toss the rest in with some brine, make fridge pickles. That's an idea. That's an idea. I will have to keep that in mind. I will have to keep that in mind down the line. Because, yeah, that's the problem I always have with pickles, or with, not pickles, with cucumbers, is they, I don't get to the end. They're just a little bit too big. My daikon has a lot of roots on it today, so I'm scraping them off real quick. Okay, daikon. Now, when you're cutting the daikon, I always want to cut from the tip end toward the top because I feel like it keeps better if it keeps this little thingy on the top. This one was actually trying to sprout. It's got a little leaf there that popped out. Take the nose off. This one also has a very clean skin, so I'm not going to skin this one. Often I will skin them because they get a little bit dirty on the outside. But this one has really nice, clean skin, so... Daikon makes a really good fridge pickle too, actually. And I've got a whole bunch of faintly fish-flavored Durandria, you're first because no one else was paying attention. Congratulations, you're first. Oh, and Moisten. Thank you for the Moisten. Moist. Yeah, 6 slices each of those should be enough for a nice bowl. I guess I'm making something pretty simple this time around, so I don't have any lettuce. I've got cabbage. I do like me some cabbage. We're going to throw 1 leaf of cabbage at this. Cabbage is one of those things that I think is underappreciated. It, for ages and ages, was poor people food because it's very easy to grow. I'm going to take that end off. It's very easy to grow, and it keeps really well, and it's nutritious. But it's also delicious. At least I think it's delicious. And unlike a lot of things that have fallen into that description I just said, cabbage is still cheap, despite being nutritious and delicious, in large part because it is so very easy to grow. These days I always keep a head of cabbage in my fridge, and I just take leaves off one at a time like I just did. Because if you cut the cabbage into the cabbage, it starts to spoil on all the cut surfaces. If you just pull a leaf off, the rest of the head of cabbage stays super, super well in the fridge for weeks. I've had one last months. And the outer leaves would get a little bit wilty, but only the outermost leaf would do that. And it wasn't like it was spoiling, it was just kind of gently wilting. Well, thank you. I do try to make this edutaining cabbage. This is a green cabbage because I picked a green cabbage this time. I usually grab red cabbage. I love red cabbage because of that bright purple color. And also, the color is more nutritious. Fun fact about fruits and vegetables, that they have, the darker color they have, the more vibrant color they have, the more healthy stuff they have in them. Because the chemicals that make the colors are also the chemicals that are the healthy nutrients most of the time. Oh, I got a follow a few minutes ago. Thank you for the follow. I have attempted that, and I didn't juice it, and that was the problem. I attempted to turn my purple cabbage blue because I've seen it. It turns this lovely cyan blue color, but I didn't juice it. I just sliced it up and threw it in some base, and it didn't work, and it was gross. So I probably do have to fully juice it. But I have seen that, and I would like to experiment with that because I love the color that it turns. Let's slice up these remaining little tuna pieces. So not too long ago, I made the decision that I wouldn't be eating tuna because it isn't the healthiest thing for the environment to be eating tuna, but because it's high in mercury, it's high on the food chain. Fishing practices aren't great surrounding it. And then it's treated like this cheapo meat. They pack it in cans, and it's almost treated as like disposable, like super low quality. But it doesn't have to be. So I've sort of forgiven myself on tuna, and I've reincorporated it, but with the promise that I would treat it right. First of all, in moderation. Second of all, not getting cans of like chicken of the sea tuna. Oh, some more follows. Thank you. Thank you for the follows. Much appreciate. If you're worried about getting called out for follows, I will give you a anonymous thank you. I know from my own experience. I don't like getting shouted out if all I've done is do a lurk follow. Okay, tuna daikon. I'm actually going to make the daikon into smaller pieces, and the cucumber as well. Tuna, cucumber. Yeah, maybe not in quite so blunt terms, but if you like what you see, drop a follow. If you really like what you see, drop a sub. I'm working on expanding things as well, so stay tuned. I think we're shooting for, yeah, I think we're shooting for the bigger changes to the channel to come in the new year, rather than trying to roll them out piecemeal. I'm sort of saving them up. You know, if you've got Amazon Prime, it comes with a free subscription to any channel of your choice. If you don't use it, it's going to waste. So you may as well use it here, if you've got one. Oh, I feel so dirty. I feel so dirty shilling for myself like that. This is going to be a pretty substantial combination of things. The only thing we're short of is color. I could try shredding up a little bit of carrot just for a touch of orange. I could try dropping the carrots on the floor just for a touch of bruised carrots. I don't even need much in the way of carrot. Tiny amount of carrot, just that much carrot. But even if all you do is hang out and lurk, I much appreciate it. Lurkers make the Twitch go round, as someone I'm sure has said. Julienne and carrots is not my favorite thing in the world. Am I even on the screen? Move up a little bit here. Julienne and carrots is not my favorite thing in the world. but I think I'm doing a pretty good job this time. Nice little matchsticks. Oh, well, nice little uneven wedges. Should do this with a full-size chef's knife. No, none of these are being cooked actually because we're making a rice bowl. It's all going to be fresh. I will, of course, be eating it at the end. Good thing this isn't being cooked too, because we're not going to get to it right when it's finished being made, because we're going to transfer back over to the cookies, because we've got to finish those. Don't forget. Don't forget, this is the side act. The main event is still olive cookies that are going through a rest period, so I'm filling time by making oops. Don't cut your finger off. Yes, this is the B plot. The A plot is I'm going to give the A plot a poke. Well, it's firming up. It's definitely firming up. It needs to be firm enough that we can cut it into neat little coins for baking. Okay, that should give us a lovely splash of color to go with the red and white. White, everyone's favorite. QP mayonnaise with the embossed baby on the bottle. You can barely see. And no nutrition facts. Yeah, so we are waiting on two things now because the rice, I probably should have thought about rice and done it right away. I guess I'll straighten things up while I wait for the rice. The rice cooker is still at the stage where it's got the little light going around and around. So we're going to have a minute to kill here. Several minutes to kill. I don't have a third thing lined up to... I did add water this time. I did remember to add water this time. Here's what I'll do. While we're waiting, since we're waiting, go back to our lovely, neat printed recipe. Oh, thank you for the moisten. Moist. We're going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And get out, water myself, and get out a baking sheet and drop the other one on the floor. Okay. And parchment lined, right? It doesn't say. Preheat the oven to I'll read this verbatim. Preheat the oven to 350. Remove dough from refrigerator and slice into rounds that are about a ½ inch thick. Bake for 12 to 15 minutes or until cookies are golden. It says nothing about a tray. It says something about a cookie sheet. Just chuck them right in the oven. Just whack them in there. They'll be fine. Um, I'm going to go ahead and assume that I'm supposed to use parchment. But you know, you can't skip steps on these things. There's some pretty foolish people out there who would just be like, "Oh, I'll just put them right on the rack or right on the bottom of the oven." Um. Oh, hey, the rice cooker just popped over to a number, and the number is 12. So honestly, how long have we been? The cookies haven't been in the fridge quite long enough, although they are rather firmed up, and I think the goal is just to make sure that they are firmed up. So we could slice them, get them in the oven. While they're baking, assemble this, and then get them out. And put my cucumber and radish in the fridge. Move that, keep that handy. Okay, this is getting moved. Clean off my worktop a little bit. Oh, worktop's getting dark. Oh, I never adjusted the lighting on this one. That's why it's doing that. Oh well, I guess I'm just stuck with it now. The one of the logs here was slightly skinnier than the first one, and I think is ready. As you can see, it doesn't sag anymore. I can even hold it by one end, and it almost is rigid enough to hold up. So I'm going to slice this guy and get him on that there cookie sheet. Rather than just stand around. They're supposed to be about half an inch thick, which I wish I had not moved my board with the measurements on it. Okay, board with the measurements on it is back. Find my measurements. Drop a carrot on the floor. So these are inch squares. So we're looking at about that much. And I'll use that one as a guide. This has definitely firmed up, so I'm happy going for it now. Bookwoman, question for you, because this is your recipe. How much do these spread out in the oven? How much space do I have to give them between them so they don't all merge into one cookie? If you're still here. Okay, I guess I'm just going to wing it. I imagine they'll spread a little bit, but not a ton. Leave an inch or so. So this is not enough then? Space them out a little bit more. Like so. That's fine. Okay. I didn't think they would spread very much because they're a very short cookie. Short being a type of something. Okay. Well, I'll get the other one out. The other one's also holds itself straight when you hold it from one end, so I think that's firm enough. The full hour was not required, which is good. I didn't want to have to really wait the full hour. Although we're coming in on where the full hour would be, so. This one's also been in there longer. But this one was slightly thicker. We made one of the logs slightly thicker and one of the logs slightly longer. Oop. And we're cutting these just a hair unevenly. Because I'm not good at this yet. These were definitely easier than the cheese cookies. The dough never got quite as rock hard, and I think I'm going to go ahead and say that's because of the olive oil. Because the cheese cookies were just butter. They were actually not dissimilar to this. They were a shortbread cookie with a savory, salty add-in. In that case, cheese. In this case, olives. Well, if they don't spread very much, then I think I can get 3 more right on the edge here. Slide us over a wee bit. Okay, those are our sheet of cookies, and my oven just clicked, and my rice is down to 3 minutes, so let's set a timer. For 12 minutes, because it says 12 to 15. So I'm going to start it at 12, and then we're going to look at them. But let's pop this in the oven. Start our timer. And clean up our countertop real quick. Have to actually washed down the countertop today. I think there's a thin veneer of butter on it. Bring back our board of fixins. And drop a bowl real quick. Get out my bowl. Now we have only moments to wait before I construct this thing. The warm rice is going to help things kind of relax into it as well. Sriracha, QP, hoisin. Well, it'll be very pretty at the end, and I don't want to add too much salt to it, so I think I'm going to skip a salty sauce because this stuff should be bringing my salt to my party. We are closing in on the 2-hour mark as well, which means we're closing in on noon, which means we're closing in on lunchtime. So it looks like we're actually going to wrap up just at the perfect time today, despite all of this nonsense. I'm just going to stand here for a full minute, and wait for my rice cooker. Ooh, actually, I'm going to walk away for a full moment and examine. Oh, there's the beeps. Okay. Yes. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, let's assemble a poke bowl. Get out my hand towel because the cooker is hot. Here's our cooker. That's what it looks like. I'm skipping the fluff with a fork stage, and I'm just getting the rice out as quickly as possible before it dries out at all. Delicious bowl of rice. We haven't gone with sushi rice today. We've just gone with plain old, I think it's enriched long grain rice. It's US grown boring rice. It's the cheap stuff. I always lose a little bit at the bottom, but used a little bit too much water and I didn't rinse it, so it is sticking together, but that's okay because we're going to make a fake poke bowl out of it. And having it stick together will be nice when eating, so you can get big chopstickfuls of it. Lost some rice on the back. Okay, and here's the fun part. The fun part of poke, aside from the eating, which is, of course, the funnest part, assembling a beautiful plating. Stop falling over that one cucumber slice. Oh, you know what I could do? Probably shouldn't. It would take a long time. Alternate the slices of daikon with the slices of cucumber all the way around. Should I do that? I'm going to do that. I thought of it after I put it in there. I'm like, oh, that would be cool. we're going to do that. We're going to do this foolish thing. Because I'm pretty sure we have an equal number. Nope. Keep switching hands here. Need half a slice of each. I've committed to this absurdity. Oh no, I bumped it. Or it bumped itself. Some of these slices are just a teeny bit too small and want to fall in. This is entirely unnecessary. This fancy plating. Behold, entirely unnecessary fancy plating. A nest of our shredded cabbage. A sprinkle of our julienne carrot. And a spiral, perhaps a flower. Ish. Of our salted. There. That's pretty good. Salty. Briny. Yep. We could use the decoration tip. Okay, they fell down a little bit, but the effort was made. If you didn't know that, bottles of Kewpie, they have the flip top with the little nozzle, and then underneath, they've got this little star cut into it for decoration. So you can make little decorative mayonnaises. And sriracha. Sriracha is back in stock again. I've seen it on shelves. We had the entire summer and fall, there was no sriracha. because there was a failure of the pepper harvest in California. This year, and they just canceled sriracha production for the year. Okay. It's a poke bowl, and it's not meant to be served hot, so it can wait as long as I need it to before I get to it, which is good because we're gonna have to set it aside real quick. I'm actually gonna take some snaps of it real fast over here in the other room. Go find my camera. We're all the way in the front now. I hope you can still hear me. This is a test for the live people, if you can still hear me. I was very impressed with the range on the thing, so I'm wondering if it works even while I'm live. Sorry, I'm being silent right now. I should be chattering. I hear beeping. I hear beeping. Okay, this is back. Yes. Could you hear me when I said I was up in the front? That's the question. When I tested just on a recording, it worked fine. But I have not tested it live going all the way to the front. Ooh, they did expand a little bit. They haven't bumped into each other. That's good. Excellent. It was one thing I didn't test this week on Tuesday when I did my first. I tested sizzling on the stove. We didn't do any stove work today at all. Fascinating. I probably should have just done that today, since we didn't use the stove at all, but whatever. Yeah, I didn't do full range test. I still haven't figured out what the actual range limit of this thing is. It'll be exciting to find out. If it's really long, we might be able to do some really crazy things. What sort of softness am I looking for? People who are experienced with shortbread cookies. We're going to pop over to the stove because I'm going to pull them out and take a peek at them with pot holders. Ooh, ow! Ow! Cookies. I ouched myself. Here they are. They're soft, but are they meant to be soft? I know they'll harden up when they cool. They smell delightful. They smell heavenly. Interestingly, they don't smell terribly strongly. These look good? Okay, because they are very soft to the touch. They have expanded a bit, and they definitely have browned. I actually think they look slightly more brown in person than they do on the camera. Till cookies are golden. Well, they were kind of brownish to begin with because of the olive juice. I don't suppose they can be rebaked if they're underdone, can they? I'm gonna trust your judgment. I'm gonna trust your judgment and say that they're good. They need to get off of here to cool, and I've got a rack, but I didn't get it handy. actually the same size rack as the sheet that they're on, so they will definitely fit. But we got to get them off of there. So we will get them off of there so that they can cool. And then I think we're going to do a taste test of the poke bowl because I'm interested how that tuna will perform mixed in with all the stuff. How do you start this? Okay. 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 Breaking out the big toys. It's got a sharper edge on it. This is a griddle scraper. I don't even have a griddle. I used this all of one time to make smash burgers. They're just about cool enough that I could pick them up with my hand, actually. So maybe we don't need, because I'm quick, I don't think we need the scraper. They are definitely still warm, though. My fingies are getting a little toasted doing it this way. I know the tray is still hot, so let's swivel them. They look good. They look just like the ones that I tried before. We're not going to be able to taste test them now because they've got to cool, sadly. Sadly, I can't taste test them live. It's a good thing I made something else that I can taste test. We're going to move them over to the... Yeah, I'll show them off briefly. Bring them over to the counter. This, I think, is a better angle. You can look at them. Ooh. Shiny mesh. Once again, this I gotta replace this camera. They're going to go live at the camera station. I'll take photos of them, but I can't taste them until they've cooled. So that will be pending. I can tell you what they tasted like when I tried them before, and I hope these taste the same. They're savory, they're salty, but they have this lovely sort of underlying sweetness, and they just kind of melt in your mouth. Oh, they were so good. They were so good. Which is why I wanted to make them. Which is why I was so excited to try making them myself. Let's taste this. Since we can taste this, let's give this boy a taste and see how this tuna performs mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. Take down, get some rice, get some tuna on the top, get a little bit of everything in there. Honestly, it's still maybe a little bit too salty. Even mixed in with all the rest of the stuff that I didn't salt. I'm gonna have to look up recipes for these because they seem, it definitely preserved it. But I think we've ventured into the realm of like salt pork, where you can eat it, but it's probably needs something done to it. besides just eating it. I'm going to give this a sprinkle of vinegar. I didn't vinegar my rice. And I'm thinking the sharp, that's seasoned vinegar, which is sweet as well. Not just tangy, but it's sharp and slightly sweet. And that should help. I wouldn't just put straight vinegar on this because I think that would be too much. The mayonnaise helps a lot. Okay, that helps. It's very pretty. I'm not going to say this is my favorite thing. I think the tuna is still a little bit too salty. I'm actually going to take the remainder of these scraps and throw them in there because we're going to dilute it a little bit. The tuna is still just a little bit too salty. It doesn't taste like tuna either. It tastes very much like briny ocean flavor. We're gonna have to experiment with this. We're gonna have to revisit this. It's not as simple as it seemed. I'm gonna try, there's a recipe, and I haven't actually found the recipe, like an actual listed out recipe, but I've heard of such a thing. Because this is Maltese salted tuna, and there's a Maltese pumpkin pie that calls for Maltese salted tuna. So that might be in the cards later on as I experiment with this stuff and see how I can use it. I'm not yet convinced. Oh, I had a follow. Thank you for the follow. I'm not yet convinced that it will be worth it to just buy up any cheap tuna I find and salt it if I can't figure out what I'm going to do with it. I might take a piece out and try boiling it or simmering it just to leach some of the salt off. Or even just soaking it a little bit. Well, future experimentation. This is edible. It's not the nicest thing I've ever had. This is maybe my lunch today. I might end up adding more Kewpie to it as well to try to balance out balance it out a little bit. So learning experience. The cookies look like they came out great. I would love to taste one, but they need to, as I've said at least 7 times now, they need to cool off. Yeah, I need to compare to other salt fish. That's a good idea. Otherwise, as is, you could put this in something in a small quantity and really use it as the only source of salt in something. That could be an option as well. But I'm gonna need to do some reading and some experimentation because it's not bad, but it's a little too punchy just by itself. I can go check the cookies. They are small. They may have cooled off. They're still warm to the touch, and they're still a little bit soft. So I could attempt to stall a little bit, but we've already run over my typical time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up Twitch, mute the tab, and see who's on before I commit to anything. Hmm. body art. That's probably where we're gonna go. Okay. I can here. Tell you what. Before I wrap up, I'm gonna grab the smallest of the cookies that has the best chance of being cooled. It's one of the end pieces. It's this little end piece right here. Nice big chunks of olive in there. It's firm, but it has a little bit of give to it still. But I'm going to give it a taste just to give you guys a chance to hear my reaction to it immediately on the spot. I can see the lemon zest in it too. Mmm. 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 It's a little bit less, I think it's probably because it's still slightly warm and the flavor of the shortbread part is more pronounced. It's a little bit less olivey, but also could be because my olives are a little bit old. I think they're a success. If they harden up a little bit more, that one is still a little bit soft. So there's quite a bit of sugar in there, so it is sweet, but it's it's rich and salty, and it's got this lovely sort of savory tone to it from the cured olives. Mm, damn, those things are my jam. I love those things. I gotta make those all the time now. Um, uh, Anyways, I was just looking at people who we could try to raid. Let's hop up to the main thing. Um, I'm gonna start our raid. We're gonna go see Jen because we had just had artists coming in. So we're gonna go see Jen the Human, who is doing, the category is beauty and body art. It looks like she's doing fancy nail painting. And since we have people who came in from Violet's raid, who was doing art, let's pass that along to another art show. Once again, thank you for everyone who came in with Violet. Thank you especially to Violet for raiding. Very exciting when a big crowd rolls in like that. Thanks for everyone who's been here all along. It's been a delight chatting along with you. Um, I, I, we had a big upgrade with the mic, and I haven't added any more because I'm kind of putting them together, and I'm gonna throw them all out in a big chunk. So, but thanks for everyone who's stuck with me. I think we've got bigger and brighter things coming along in no time. I kind of lost my train of thought, and I'm rambling now because I had something I was gonna say. No, thank you for streaming. Wait. Anyways, let's all go say hi to Jen. The main event today was the olive cookies, so we'll talk about the olive cookies more than the iffy Pokeball. But yeah, I will be back next week. Thanks for hanging out.